Okay, so I just want to say, this is kind of admittedly a low point in my life. I've always been the type of person where I've just, worked for everything, and just if you wanted it, you worked for it. And so this is kind of, it's humbling. My name is Jaime Garcia. For about the last 13 years or so, I've been the subject of a concerted persecution campaign here, basically a social lynching by the United States, where they're just torturing a mentally ill, defenseless man, and the entire country is, and that's what I don't, anyway, for whatever sadistic and evil purposes they might have. But for my original sin was, as far as I know, freedom of expression. Because I started back in the day, before, as I said, I used to work. I was a loan officer. I was doing fairly well in my career until the Great Recession. I mean, I was always trying to always work towards something better and improve, just as I would imagine any other person would, especially who's career-minded and wants to go somewhere in life. So anyway, after the recession, when I couldn't find a job to save my life because I had gotten into the mortgage industry because a friend got me there, actually. A friend of mine got me a job in the mortgage industry, unfortunately, as it was headed, towards collapse. And so as the economy itself damn near collapsed, I kind of decided to transition careers over to not just journalism, but just writing, because I've always, had a knack for writing and telling jokes. Now, I made the mistake of, being a socialist here in America and ribbing, some very powerful politicians, including Ted Kennedy, who then abused their power, and of course President George W. Bush at that time, who abused their power to declare me some sort of, I don't know how they did it, but it legally classified it so that they can basically lynch me here, in full view of the world. That's how shameless these people are. And again, I'm mentally ill. That is a struggle in and of itself. I mean, you wake up every day and you just feel off. Like, I don't know how most people wake up, but feeling good is like, and especially now, is alien to me, because that's just how I've gotten PTSD from all of this, and it really doesn't help. So I'm having a hard time struggling with that as is. That's enough of a struggle that most people wouldn't even, can't even comprehend. It ended up developing into full-blown schizophrenia. I was like, I guess I must have had like bipolar disorder or something. I've always kind of grappled with mental illness. It runs in my family. And, they're exacerbating it, and I'm doing it on purpose too. It's a psychological operations program, because essentially the country declared war on me. A private citizen and everything like that, again, for telling jokes, because these politicians couldn't tell jokes, so anyway, or couldn't take a joke. So, anyway, my life is in tatters right now. I barely have, $50, and I'm trying to get to Washington, D.C., or someplace else. I'm actually honestly trying to leave the country just to make this stop. So one of the things that I want to say is, just because, they've essentially, not so much doxed me, but just done a thorough character assassination. And I just want to know, I just want it to be noted that those of you who are contributing here, I hope you're doing it on a humanitarian basis. And if not, for the First Amendment, because that's really what I feel that this is, it was the problem. It's just, essentially they destroyed my life for exercising my First Amendment rights. And so, having grown up in America, those rights are supposed, to me, they're set in stone. Those are what made America great. And yet, they're using that to justify torturing me and what have you, because, a few politicians had a bruised ego, and so they're going to destroy my life. And so I'm at my wit's end. I'm honestly contemplating suicide, just as a means to make this stop. And I've tried it before, but the Lord Himself stopped me. So I'd rather that this, be an alternate means, so that we don't have to do that. So please, if you find it in your heart to help me out, I'd be grateful.